Did you, this happened a couple of weeks ago. There was a 15-year-old boy that started shooting in his neighborhood in North
Yeah.
Carolina.
Yeah, I was hearing about that.
Yeah. Yeah. So apparently, let me just pull it up. Um, Again, 15-year-old kid, I said, as a parent, I mean, look, people have got to fucking pay attention to their goddamn kids. I'm sorry. When your kid is, when your kid's behavior changes or when your kid's acting strange, I can't, the people who are like, oh, we never knew, you're not fucking paying attention.
Yeah.
You're not. So, a boy, for the recap, according to the article in, what is this, BBC News. Okay, so he shot a relative at his home, and then, so including four of the people. So wait, no, sorry, I was incorrect. Shot five people, including an off-duty police officer, were killed and two injured in the attack at rally. Five people, including an off-duty police officer, were killed. Okay, so he killed five and injured two. 15-year-old, fuck. Suspect is in critical condition in the hospital, but it's not clear how he was injured. Gun Violence Archive says there have been 533 mass shootings, 4 or more shot in the U.S. this year. Thursday's attack unfolded in a residential neighborhood near the Neuse River Greenway, popular trail in the outskirts of the state capital. The unnamed suspect's motive has yet to be established. While he is white and his victims were all of different races. After the shooting, a relative at the home, the boy went out into the street and shot two women in the neighborhood. Suspect then allegedly ran towards a local river trail, fatally shooting a 29 police officer, Gabriel Torres, who was on his way to work. Once on the trail, the attacker killed 2 or more people and wounded 2 others, said the police chief. Nearby primary schools locked down. 2 community centers were preemptively evacuated. Okay. Shooting, which spanned over 2 miles, just began after 5 p.m. and ended, 9 p.m. So that's 4 hours. Police dog tracked the suspect to a shed. He was taken into custody about 4.5 hours later. 2 wounded victims include another officer, Casey Clark, 33, who has been since released, and a 59-year-old woman who's in critical condition. Along with the officer Torres, deceased victims were identified as Nicole Connors, 53, Susan Carnatz, 49, Mary Marshall, 34, and James Thompson, 16. Thomas told husband that the Associated Press agency had been chatting with the neighbor on the porch when she was shot. Miss Marshall was walking her dog Scruff. Her sister told the NBC. Okay. Mrs. Carnatz's husband Tom posted a tribute to the mother on Facebook. Wake County attorney said the Friday Teen suspect will be arraigned as an adult. Charged as an adult, more than 34,000 people have died in shootings in the U.S. in 2022. More than half were from suicide. Right. I mean, we get these numbers, and look, yeah, you have guns, people die, people kill each other. So they use the 34,000 number, then it's actually half that is what it was. We must stop this mindless violence in America. Okay, again. So, 50-year-old kid, decides to just start fucking shooting up his relatives and anyone who comes across his path.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my guess is that he was injured with, they put the dogs on him. The dogs did a number on him when he was in the shed.
Fucking hope so.
Yeah. I mean, look, but it's like, where do these kids get to this point? The one thing that they're always missing is, was the kid on medical, was any type of meds, right? Any antidepressants, any pharmaceuticals going through these kids' fucking veins. Chances are you're going to find yes. All right. Does he have a history of expressing himself with violent media, video games, movies, things like that? How did he get the weapon? 15
Yeah.
years old. I tell you, my shit's locked. If I'm not wearing it, it's locked.
Yeah.
I've got a 17 in the house, 17-year-old in the house. Funny story. The other night, he thought somebody was, he thought somebody came in the house. So he ushered his girlfriend out. I was over at a neighbor's house. I have an AR secreted in a piece of furniture that doesn't necessarily have a lock on it, but you can't tell what it is. But he knows how to open it. I mean, he's seen it. Put the magazine in, didn't rack it, and he's like, come back, I got the AR out. I'm concerned there's somebody in the house. I'm like, okay, well, if there's a problem, I'm like, you should dial 911. If you could dial 911, but then when the cops come, put the fucking gun away. Because what's going to happen is intruder in the house. They see you're a fucking big dude with a fucking rifle. They're going to fucking put a hole in you.
Yep.
So again, these are the things I go through with my kid, but like every kid, they don't fucking know and they don't remember. Every time he wants to go to the range, it's like, I know he's got school and he's got fucking, and hoops and girlfriend and shit like that. He's like, nah. Like, okay. Then I go, now you do this shit. And I'm like, he's like, well, the safety's on. I go, yeah, dude, you're not shooting anybody with this. There's no round in the action, so we're done. Right? You gotta save it. You gotta fucking rack this fucking thing. So I'm like, I'm like, dude, I go, if you think somebody's in the house, get out of the fucking house, call 911. Period.
Exactly.
Let the cops sweep the house. And I go, and your problems are over. And dude, don't get me wrong. I work, I know these guys. Like every cop, dude, drawing your weapon and clearing the house is fucking gonna break up a monotonous night.
Yeah.
If you're a fucking cop, you're gonna be like, man, I hope I fucking find somebody. No, yeah, of course, dude. You're gonna fucking want to hope. You're gonna want to hope to find somebody in there. Stop bad guys. That's why you join to fucking be a cop. Stop bad guys. Catch bad guys. Do good shit. Right?
Exactly.
So, I'm like, you call these guys and go, just stay outside the house. Just tell them, what's what. And then, then the only thing I would tell them is where I do have a shotgun that's accessible. That's the only thing that's unlocked. I would tell them where that is. Because that's like, I keep weapons wherever I spend the most of my time. Right? So in my office, where in your bedroom, in your TV room, wherever your kitchen, wherever you're spending the majority of your time, you keep your shit. So, or keep something, and then the rest of the shit I keep locked up, so there's really only, the shotgun that's, around. So again, and when people come over the house, if we're going to go away, all that shit goes away. It disappears.
Exactly.
It's locked in a place where nobody really goes in the house. So, or if I know he's having kids over, shit like that, especially if we're not going to be home, that stuff gets secured and stowed away. But so how's this 15-year-old getting a fucking gun?
Yeah.
Especially if you got a 15-year-old, you just don't wake up one day and start fucking shooting people. It's not a natural thing. It's not something that, kid goes from normal one day to murder the next day.
Yeah, he's tossed a couple. He's tossed a couple gerbils or kittens into a fucking microwave at some point before this.
Something, right? Something. Yet in all these cases, there's always a fucking history of mental illness or depression or something, and there's always pharmaceuticals involved. Pisses me off. They don't call that shit out. They just found out that even being depressed has nothing to do with a chemical imbalance. That there's like, Naproxol or one of these fucking things. You know, they're like, yeah, it really does nothing except fuck you up chemically. So, you know, all these these psychotropic drugs or whatever you want to call them, you know, they do more harm than good. So, and that's what's happening with our youth. And, you know, as a parent, you know, like you raise your kid, if you're paying attention to your kid on any level, you know when their behavior changed bad and what is not normal behavior. If your kid doesn't have a lot of friends or any friends and is staying home a lot, it's not normal behavior. If your kid is not participating in any teams or clubs, it's not normal behavior. If your child is just going to fucking school and coming home and getting on their phone or the computer or the game, it's not normal behavior. All right? Humans need contact. They need interaction. We're made this way. If your kid is not doing these things, you need to fucking help fix them. And the problem is, you're like hit or miss with fucking, psychology and therapy. Hit or fucking miss. I've had a good experience with therapy, mainly because so when Angela and I were first trying to have kids, had a miscarriage, and then we lost another baby at 6 months. We were not, we just needed help dealing with it. We went and saw somebody. She gave us like real shit that held us accountable and gave us answers to issues. Right? More than just, if I just want to bitch, I'll go talk to my friends. Right?
Exactly.
If you want to sit there and somebody goes, well, what do you think? Well, what? Fuck you. I don't know what to think. That's what I'm fucking here for. I've got a relative close who spent her entire life from the time she was 13 till she's like, almost 60 now. Spent untold hundreds of thousands of dollars on fucking therapy. She is still pissed off about shit that happened 30 years ago. Not like shit like assault and rape. Shit like somebody said something about a part of my body.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Left it in the fucking fridge.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you doing? So, you're seeing all this shit, yet you're still fucking miserable and you're still ruminating over that bullshit. And this person has done well for themselves. But I don't even know what level they can fucking enjoy it because this is what drives them fucking crazy. It's a fucking shame. It's a shame. So, you've got these fucking, you've got your kid, you're pay attention. They're not being, there's not one family cranking them out. And yeah, I mean, even when you look at like what happened with Jeff Dahmer, well, his parents, that family life wasn't normal. Parents are fucked up. I don't know if you're watching that shit on Netflix, but yeah, dude, you're fucking these kids up. These kids are getting fucked up. So, three things, right? Or maybe more because I lost count. One, how the kid get the fucking firearm? He's 15 years old. Two, is he taking any psychological drugs? Is he in any type of therapy? Has he demonstrated any type of, antisocial behavior before? Right? So I guess basically two things. I mean, they sit there and they talk about fucking gun laws, yet, what about the other shit? It's, 100 million people have fucking firearms in this country, right? There's only 16, there's 16,000 fucking murders. 533 of 533 of them are four or more. So there's only, again, we're not talking about how many people were wounded, because that's real. So it's not like out of the 100 million people, how many people, what percentage of them, first of them are legal gun owners, right? So
yep.
That number gets cut. Finally, how many of them are, so how many of them are actually, how many legal gun owners or access to legal guns are murdering people compared to the percentage? Yeah, I get it. One is too many. But then again, look, Paul Pelosi just got attacked with a hammer. People get hit with hammers. They get stabbed with knives. They get killed with cars.
Yep.
Right?
Where's the ban all that?
I mean, the fact that fentanyl is the largest killer between the ages of 18 and 49 in this country, it's really not getting too much attention. I'm not hearing about that every day. Yeah. But fucking owning a gun, one, allows you to, if you're a lot smaller or weaker, gives you a better shot at somebody kicking in your door. That's a fact. That's why we made them. That's why they're so awesome. Two, it keeps our fucking government in check. The shit that happened in Canada, bro, or in Australia, God love you guys, but that shit ain't because of armed citizenry. Yeah. I mean, that's just like, there's more guns, more small arms in private hands in the U.S. than in the military. And then if you think, okay, well, the military would just turn on it, I go, not exactly. If you gave a fucking platoon orders to shoot and attack U.S. citizens, I would imagine the vast majority of them wouldn't. There's going to be officers, there's going to be general, there's going to be like, fuck you.
Yep.
We're not going in. You may be able to get local law enforcement on a small scale to do something if they've been told that a family is held up and fucking has firearms and shit like that. For the most part, you just fucking wait it out. I mean, but look what happened in Waco. So, yeah, shit happens. So, again, you can't have everything. There's always trade-offs, right? You want freedom, but you want security. You want firearms, but you don't want anybody to die. You want free speech, but you don't want firearms, right? So you don't get one without the other.
Right.
So there's no, Thomas Sowell said it best. I mean, it's trade-offs. Fucking trade-offs, man. So I need to start seeing things in these, mass shootings as I want to see, how the kid got the weapon, where the parents were in all this. Is this kid, on any type of psychological drugs or therapy or what is going on? So, how are pharmaceuticals involved? And that will give me a full picture and start asking real questions so we can look at these problems and, continue to minimize it.
That's right.
So that's it. I'm fucking done. So what are you doing this weekend?
Oh, fuck, going to see family.
Yeah.
Getting some quality time in, yeah. Like, yeah. I swear, every fucking train decides to come by when you and I are doing these.
Right. So, yeah. So we'll see. Got a bunch of shit going on, but usual stuff. Looking forward to Thanksgiving. We're over here. Daughter's coming home. A few days.
I'm going where I can actually hear you.
Right. Can't wait for the election to be over. So, advertising costs come down. Then we got Black Friday. But yeah, so, trying to just get ready for holiday season and basketball season. And then, yeah, that's it. So that's it, man.
All right.
I'm done. So to people, everybody, thanks for checking us out. Thanks for hanging on and putting up with us. Till next time, train honestly.